Yo yo yo, and welcome to the AP UD item tier list. If you guys hear something weird in the background, that might be my fan. It's extremely hot right now while I'm recording this, so I'm gonna take the liberty to have my fan on. And if you hear slurping, that's my coffee. Okay, let's get into it. First of all, this is like, again, the same for AD UD's tier list. If you see an item in the super tier, you can probably just expect you're gonna see this in every other AP UD game, and if you see it in bad, you should basically never see it unless you're in normal games and troll. Unending Despair. I'm gonna put Unending Despair into super category in my opinion. If you're up against a lot of melee champions, Unending Despair is so goated, especially since into a lot of melee champions you don't need Deadman's Plate, which would be the next super tier item in my opinion. Deadman's Plate is just insanely good on OD. It provides you with a lot of utility, movement speed, damage, basically everything you want. Right, it's just a very good second item. Then the AP items, I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I think full AP Udyr is... It's not that great in general, to be honest. There's probably like better approaches to having higher AP builds than going full AP, and I don't agree with a lot of takes I see on AP Udyr, but that's fine. I'm gonna put this into the bad category. I don't think he would ever build this over Void Stuff. Or Rabadon's last item, I'm gonna put this into the bad category too. You can cook stuff with this. Maybe we put it into low C, but if this is in bad, then I will have to put it in this tier. These are all AD items. Malignance I'm gonna put into C tier. It gives you mana. Stats are just bad. Quite simple. It's a good burn item. It gives you ultimate haste, which reduces your passive cooldown, but it's a bad stat item. It's cheap. You can cook with it. You can put it in a build if you just try to have fun or whatever. But overall, I would say it's C tier. Not good, not bad. Or, yeah, not horrible, I guess. Then Hexblade we're gonna skip. Hollow Radiance I'm gonna put into C tier too. Honestly, I don't think that our Udyr, Phoenix Udyr scales very well with health. I don't think Udyr in general scales well with health. We are not Volibear where our W gets a huge bonus from us building health. We primarily build tank stats to be tanky, right? It's not like the tank stats actually impact our kit that much beyond from W, but... And even there the scalings are like okay-ish, but yeah. I would say that I put Hollow Radiance over Malignance for now, and we will see where the list moves, and maybe then I put it into a different tier. Trailblaze I'm not gonna consider. Support items we're just gonna skip for this one. This is a support item too, right? Support item, support item. Abyssal Mask I would honestly put in B tier for now. I think Abyssal Mask is pretty good. The way it works is basically you have this radius around you, and in this radius you take 20% of the champions in that radius magic resistance, so they're just basically, it's like a 20% pen in a radius, right? But it also applies for your teammates, so it's good team type of item to build. But at the same time, I also just have to say that very often as AP Udyr, the way AP Udyr is being played right now is that very often you're not in Abyssal Mask range because we're playing with Flash. The setups are usually like very high damage. You just drop an R2. It's not like Demonic Udyr where like you were in melee range a lot. This is kind of more like the meta kind of shifted towards Udyr playing almost more like a mage in a weird way sometimes. Then this item doesn't exist anymore. Ardent, I'm gonna put it into bad because people are just gonna build it anyways. You get healing and shielding power. I mean, I guess you can do something with that, but it's just overall for normal games. If you want to have fun in normal games, you can do whatever you want, of course. Then Cosmic Drive I'm going to put into B category right now too. There's just better AP items, to be really honest with you. It gives you great stats and actually a great passive, but again, Udyr kind of plays more like a mage at the moment in my opinion. With Liandry's and Riftmaker, Deadman's Plate being almost like the standard build now, and you're just dropping a huge R into the enemy team. So that Cosmic Drive and the kiting isn't actually that important. I'm gonna put it... You know what, let's just put it in A category for now. It's definitely better than Abyssal Mask in my opinion. At least when it comes to like a lot of use cases. This is a powered item. Yeah, but I would do Fimbulwinter. I have to put it into CT. Ever since Ingenious Hunter got removed, like, I mean, before, you know, there was like this one build that was like circulating. I did a video on it too, where you went Grasp, Shield Bash, Fimbulwinter, Ingenious. The item was good. Now I would just say it's... You pay way too much gold for mana. You have a weird stacking mechanic that's gonna slow down your game. It's just, generally speaking, not that great. Then... Force of Nature I will put into super category. The reason why it's in super category is because it's basically the best magic resistance item if you get to stack it. If you don't get to stack it, you would want to build Chaotic Rukun, which I don't know if it's on this list. It should be. This was the most updated list I could find, by the way. So let's see here. I don't see it. Chaotic not on this list? Well, then we have to find like a placeholder for Chaotic Rukun. Which can we take as a placeholder? Let's take the Bell. Right? I will put Chaotic Rukun into A tier. So how do these two items work, Omodium? Well, Force of Nature basically means you have to get a lot of magic damage, and then you get a lot of magic resistance, and then you want to soak more magic damage, because that is kind of like how this item works, right? You want to get the magic resistance stacked without dying, or being like in an HP range where you can't do anything anymore, and then use it. And there's a lot of bursty champions where like Force of Nature really wouldn't do a lot, and then we would probably opt into Chaotic Rukun, but that is like a rare case. Chaotic Rukun is usually not really an item you would prioritize over Force of Nature, but there is situations where you want Chaotic Rukun over that. It's a shame that there isn't like a list that is more updated than this one, but it's okay. At least I didn't find it. Frozen Heart. Guys. I want to put it in high B for now, maybe low A. Let's put it into low A because of the cooldown reduction, but low A it might actually go down to B. The problem with Frozen Heart is that we build it primarily for the CDR. Now we have a CDR rune, and Frozen Heart, quite frankly, isn't that good of an item. It doesn't make you that tanky. Yes, the attack speed slow is really nice. The stats are just not that great. Like, investing into mana is again kind of like question mark on jungle Udyr. You basically invest gold into a stat that doesn't matter, and usually we are in a crit meta, so we can talk about Omen here. Omen is definitely a super category item, because Omen is just an insane item. Think about it like this. Every crit ADC is gonna get to 100% crit at some point at the game, right? The way Omen works is it takes 30% damage of the entire auto attack that crits. Since every auto attack crits from an ADC, Omen takes a lot of damage away from the auto, but also whatever on auto attack you have, let's say a fucking Jhin 4th shot, is also gonna reduce by 30%. It's not just 30% minus the crit, it's 30% from the entire auto attack. And ADCs are just critting 100% on 4 items now, so it's a very, very good item. That is kind of why I feel like Frozen Heart is weaker now too. Then, let's see, GA, Heartsteel. Do I put it in bad or do I put it in C? At the end of the day, Heartsteel is probably like a low C item. You just never really play for HP. That's the issue. Udyr just doesn't care about HP. It's a cheap HP stacker, but you can make Udyr a pretty unkillable tank with this item. Then Hullbreaker, I'm not. Frozen Fist. Since top lane Udyr exists, I'm gonna put it in B tier, and it's a Sheen item. But let's just put it into high C tier for now. Just for top lane Udyr. But for Udyr jungle, you will never see this being built on Phoenix Udyr and AD Udyr. It's a whole different type of situation. Imperial Mandate, I actually used to rock builds with that, but it's horrible now. Jakshaw. Is Jakshaw S or high A? I would say that Jakshaw for now is high A. Actually, but as a last item, it's perfect, but I can't really put it into S as a last item. Let's just put it into high A. Really good item if you have a lot of resistances already, or if you need mixed resistances, because, I don't know, your mid laner and your ADC is feeling, so now you need both MR and armor, but usually in these case scenarios I just build damage, because like damage is always going to be good, and resistances, this is not an optimal purchase in my opinion, but you can do stuff with it. Then we are Liandry's. I don't really have to talk much about it. It's probably the best item in the game right now, or one of the best items. Faded Ashes as a component made this item completely broken, made Udyr broken, made every Faded Ashes user broken, and end of story. There's not much to explain here, it's just the best item. The Knight's Vow I'm gonna put into low C. Not really much to talk about here, I just don't really like the item. Magi's I'm gonna put into... I almost want to put it into S. But I'm also very biased because I play Phoenix Udyr really high AP. Usually I have like 3 AP items, but I want to put it into high S, low S tier or high A. Let's put it into high A. I think Magi's is probably his strongest snowball item in the game. You know what? I'm gonna put it into low S. It's just such a great item. Like, if you have 10 stacks, you're snowballing, and then you have like a dragon fight and get another 5-6 stacks. But this shit is just Jova, man. Like, Udyrs R and Q2 deal so much damage with this, it's actually ridiculous. This we're gonna skip. This item I'm gonna put into B. Yes, Udyr applies anti-healing very well onto the enemy team, because like you just AoE them constantly, so basically everybody gets the anti-heal, but Udyr doesn't want to build anti-heal. It doesn't fit into his build path. Usually you want to do something like Liandry's, Deadman's Blade tank, or Riftmaker. So, and at best you're gonna have Deadman's Blade, Liandry's, Riftmaker, and Magi's. You don't really want this as an AP item, it just makes you squishy. What else? But it's not bad. Udyr can use it very well, but it's just a bit cringy. Lichbane, I'm gonna put into B category. I don't think AP Udyr auto attacks very much. Like, it's not really a good item. Yes, you get movement speed, but like, if you compare it to, like, on old Udyr it was so good because Phoenix Udyr had like the burst and you played for a lot of auto attacking. New Phoenix Udyr doesn't really care that much about auto attacking everybody. You just want to drop a fat R into their team, maybe get an auto attack here and there. Like, you basically just, you're a glorified Sunfire cape, right? So I'm gonna put it like over this item, but overall I would say Lichbane is a strong item. It just, the functionality doesn't really align with Udyr's gameplay anymore, if that makes any sense. Wait, is that an AP item? It is, right? Yeah, this is not Knight's Edge. I'm tripping. I'm gonna put this into low C tier. I mean, you're probably never gonna build this item. It's a little bit keck. Nasho's Tooth, I'm gonna put into bad category. Like, if this is B category, but like every 1.5 seconds you get like a spell off and auto attack, this is gonna be in bad category because you just don't play for that many auto attacks with Phoenix. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not a good item on Udyr anymore. It's also pricey. Then Rabadons I'm gonna put into B category. Let's put it into high B. There's games where, like, as a last item you just want to get a Rabadons, and honestly, bro, you deal so much damage with Rabadons as a last item. It's like a very, very good last item on Phoenix Udyr in my opinion. I might even put it into low A tier. Nah, let's put it into B tier. It's a little bit situational. Then we have... Did we skip Rocket Belt? But guys, I mean, you already know my opinion on that. Rocket Belt is kind of meme. Did we skip Horizon Focus too? Well, there's my answer. Horizon Focus is horrible on Udyr. Redemption Riftmaker. Riftmaker goes into S tier in my opinion. It's such a great third item when you already have like a little bit of HP to get more out of the HP to AP conversion passive. It also gives you a lot of damage amp, and it gives you some survivability. It's just a good item. It just makes it. It's just like, these items are just almost like built for Udyr, or Udyr is built for these items, you know? Then, I mean, Rylai's, guys, there should be a new category called Rylai's, to be honest. It's so bad. Like, you should never build this on Phoenix Udyr. Never. It's just troll. There's no reason to ever go Rylai's. Not even on top. Never. It's horrible. World of Ages I'm gonna put into low B tier for laning. I think you can definitely cook something with this for lane Udyr, but for jungle Udyr it's a little bit troll in my opinion. Sapphires I'm gonna put low C. Somewhere there. doesn't really matter. You're never gonna build this item anyways. Shadow Flame. Wait, why is... No, Rabadon should be an A. I'm tripping. It shouldn't be an S though. Low A is fine. Shadow Flame can be high B, maybe behind this item. Shadow Flame is decent as a damage item. Like, it actually does amp your damage up a lot, especially since Phoenix Udi has no problem into getting into the crit range for this item. But again, like, usually you are gonna build Liandry, Statman's Plate, and Riftmaker, maybe Magi's, because that's kind of just the best items on the... So there's just not a lot of space in your inventory to fit in this item, but it's decent. It's decent. It does what it's supposed to do, which is just more damage on your R. Then we have Spirit Visage. I'm gonna put Spirit Visage into low A tier. I think Spirit Visage is a great item, a great MR item if you don't need MR that much. If they have a fat support AP, you can easily slot in a Spirit Visage and become much tankier through your shields. Overall, your shields are just gonna make you, and your healing is gonna make you more tanky against AD damage dealers too. So it's kind of like in a similar camp as Deadman's Parade, where like you can kind of build it independently on team comp, but 60 MR is still gold you invest into, so you kind of want to make use of that. Also very, very great synergy with Unending Despair, obviously. Then we have... do I include this in the list? I think we could argue for low B on this item. It's very cheap and just gives you mobility into your team, but other than that, it has kind of mediocre stats. But it's very cheap. So it's kind of like hard to say it's bad, because it gives you mobility and it's cheap, but an AP, but it's just not a great item. Sunfire Cape. I'm going to put Sunfire Cape into B. I think right now Ude is not balanced around Sunfire item. He's balanced around items that amplify your abilities and not like your surrounding or like you just being a tank. So I'm just going to put it into probably higher B, like somewhere here. Sunfire is in theory a good item on Ude, but it just doesn't outcompete the other good items on Ude that fill a similar niche. HP damage. Why would I go Sunfire, right? Then we have Thornmail, I think is the next one. Thornmail is okay. I mean, I'm gonna put it over Sunfire. Thornmail is okay. You don't really play Phoenix with it, in my opinion, to just stand in the middle of 5 people and get hit by them and get a lot of thorn damage in anti-heal that way. It's a decent armor item. In some situations, it makes a lot of sense. Maybe let's put it over these, because you're gonna build this item way more than these two, in my opinion, so... It's okay. I'm gonna put Trinity Force on this list. I don't think Trinity Force is horrible on Phoenix today. You get some AD, yeah, that still scales onto your Q. Your Q doesn't have level or point scaling. Your scalings always remain the same. So the AD doesn't go to waste, and the Sheen proc is pretty decent. I'm gonna put it over Lichbane because it gives you better stats, honestly. It's not a horrible item on Phoenix today at all, in my opinion. If you have a game where you want to auto-attack more, have like a little bit more hybrid damage maxing arm, you can do that, in my opinion. It's not troll at all. I had like games where I did it and it was actually pretty good. We have Void Stuff, Warmogs, maybe Zeeks and this left. And then we can do Boots. Void Stuff I'm gonna put into... I'm gonna put behind Trinity Force. There's some games where like... You would rather have a Void Stuff less item than a Rabadon, but it's like very, very little games. It's like games where like you're just full MR and you went full AP. That's already like your biggest mistake, in my opinion, in the first place. You shouldn't be full AP in a game like this, but there are situations where you just need a Void Stuff. Then Warmogs, I'm gonna put Warmogs actually into low A, to be honest. I'm gonna put Visage actually over these. I'm gonna put Visage here. Kayanic here, Frozen Heart here, Rabadon's here, and then Warmogs here. Warmogs is a decent item. It gives you a lot of health if the enemy team doesn't have a lot of max HP damage. I think it's totally fine to go Warmogs. It gives you a lot of mobility and a lot of stats. Zeeks. I just don't believe in the Zeeks tech. I think it's a little bit trolly. I don't think like the slow is irrelevant because it overlaps with your R slow, and then the AoE is worse than Sunfire. So what's the point? Zonias, I feel like you can slot it into C. There's probably certain setups where you can go Zonias and make a lot of use out of it. But overall, guys, Zonias is kind of troll. Then this I'm not even gonna include. We can talk boots. I kind of don't want to. We can talk pets. Blue pet S tier, green pet A tier, red pet C tier. In my opinion, there's very little games where you would ever want red pet because the slow disappears in your slow. Slows don't stack, by the way. Only the strongest slow applies. So if you have one slot at 60% and one slot that's 40% happening at the same time, then only 60% slow is gonna apply and the 40% slow is not active until the 60% slow disappears. Green pet is good into melee champions if you don't need the mobility, but usually you will just go blue pet. Then we can talk about boots. Let's put Darksteel on the list. I would say Darksteel is also like an S item. It's cheap and gives you a lot for what Ude needs in the early game. Berserker Greaves bad. Moby's bad. Or I mean now they are like the Void Shoes, whatever. Ionian B tier. Swifties, in my opinion, still S tier. Sorks actually A tier. And then I would say Mercs S tier and Tarby's A tier. Sorks are really good if you, like, in my opinion, Sorks kind of take over the place Ionian Boots had last game, where you don't need slow resistance, where you don't need armor boots and you don't need the tenacity boots. You can just go Sorks and have a little bit more damage, in my opinion. Ionian Boots kind of got robbed of this position because now we have the CDR rune. I think that concludes the list. Let me just skip over this really quick if there's like something I can still talk about here. But I don't think so. I hope we didn't miss any of the items that got released this split, but I highly doubt that. I think that's it, guys. If you agree with this tier list, let me know in the comments. If you want to see more tier lists like that, also let me know in the comments. Subscribing, liking, much appreciated. Check out the link in the description to my Discord server. We are doing VOD reviews from viewers. It's free. You can just join and send me your VOD or your VOD ID, and I can take a look if it's interesting enough for the YouTube channel. Other than that, I see you guys on the next one. Peace.